the Senate. He has a very, I think, incredibly diverse career with a background in law enforcement, law, and the legislature. He is somebody who has taken some very tough positions on issues of illegal guns. He actually led the group and co-chairs legislators against illegal guns, which is an adjunct for the Mayors Against Illegal Guns. If you look back in the history of Rochester and look at the number of young people, especially who lost their lives in the city, we've had young kids, we've had police officers, innocent people whose lives have been lost in this community at the hands of illegal guns. That is a scourge that has impacted not only Rochester, but cities across our state, and really states across this country. The guns that come into this community come in from out of state by and large. And what Eric is proposing is an incredible program to link in all of law enforcement agencies, tie in with the I-95 corridor, to really look at a much smarter approach. It's not about just expending effort. It is looking at data, it is organizing the efforts, it's bringing all the teams and resources together, and that's the way Eric works. And I think that's what he brings to this position, which I think is so important. One thing that before I bring him up, I would just like to say, this is a position that I would hope voters look at and get beyond the messaging. Look at somebody who has the experience, has the depth. And one thing that is important for the Attorney General, this is the top law enforcement position in the state. We have a great Attorney General right now in Andrew Cuomo, and to have somebody replacing Andrew, if I hope he's elected November 2nd as our next governor, you want somebody who has a depth of experience. And one thing about Eric that I believe is especially important, aside from all his credentials, Eric can connect with everybody. He can connect from people on the street to the CEOs of companies. He is somebody who has, I think, the type of personality, the type of character that doesn't turn his back on anybody, that listens, that takes in information, that will go out and reach out to people. The mere fact that he has been here time and time again in his career tells you something. He gets out of his office, he moves around his state, he listens to people, and I think that is a trait that is so important for public service today to do that. So it is a great honor to be here now to support Eric Schneiderman, to endorse Eric Schneiderman, to get out and have us work hard to get him elected as our next Attorney General. But he gives this state the best opportunity in this race to make New York State the safest state in the country. So please welcome the man who will be our next Attorney General, Eric Schneiderman.
I promise not to do stand-up. It's great to be back in Rochester. Thank you, Mayor Duffy. It is an honor to be here on the ticket with our next Lieutenant Governor and be campaigning with him and his running mate, Andrew Cuomo. They're both extraordinary public servants, and as Bob mentioned, I do reach out to everybody, and I'm proud to have the support not just of Democrats like the mayor and Andrew Cuomo and Chuck Schumer, but also to have the support of a lot of prominent Republicans, including the Republican former Homeland Security Czar of the state who crossed party lines to endorse me, saying I was the one that New Yorkers should trust to keep them safe. Public safety is job one. Everyone in New York State should feel safe in their homes and on the streets. And Mayor Duffy is a great example of what you can do if you're smart on crime, if you're an independent reformer, if you fight for the people and you're willing to take on tough fights. The big illusion about crime is that we can't do anything about it. A lot of people say you can't do anything about it. Nonsense. There's evidence for programs that work. There are things that we can do, and one of them is to work on getting illegal guns off the streets. And Mayor Duffy has been a leader in this effort. He knows a lot about it, but there's some things that local governments just can't do, and that's why I proposed, as Attorney General, that we're going to set up a multi-state anti-smuggling coalition working with other states to share information. Because as the mayor noted, most of the guns used in gun crimes in New York State and a lot of the guns used in gun crimes in upstate New York come from other places. People take advantage of the weak enforcement of gun laws in other states to smuggle them here. These are not random smugglings. A lot of this is done by sophisticated gang members, often drug dealers, who are arming people. And we were talking earlier, it's very hard to find street crimes committed with legal guns. You know, we're talking about illegal guns, and it's something that we can do something about. We know that there's a relatively small number of gun dealers responsible for most of the guns used in crimes. This is where the Attorney General can step in, where local prosecutors need help. I promise to use the Organized Crime Task Force and whatever tools are available, wiretapping, surveillance, to help all of our local law enforcement officials get guns off the street. We can stop the trafficking. We can make New York safer. We can make New York better by being smart on crime, smart on government, saving the taxpayers' money, and saving lives. I'm proud to be here in Rochester, where your mayor is such a good example of what can happen if you're smart on crime. I want to bring that same philosophy to the Attorney General's office, and I am very excited about getting there, and I can't wait to see Mayor Duffy presiding over the New York State Senate. So thank you very much for your support, and thank you all for being here.